The purser's email said account hold and pay by Friday. The money was supposed to come from my college fund, the one my grandfather set up when I was born. By lunch, I knew why at DIDN, single quotes T.3 cashier's checks have left my UTMA account in the last 30 days. Payees, a wedding venue, a caterer, and a floral studio. My brother's wedding vendors. I didn't blow up the group chat. I printed the statements, tabbed them with neon flags, and brought them to the rehearsal dinner. I'm Grace Adler, 20, junior at the University of Illinois at Chicago. I stack shifts at the library, chase scholarships like coupons, and know exactly how many cereal bowls fit in a dorm sink before the RAI notices. I plan to finish in 4 years without loans because my granddad, Tom Adler, a machinist with a love of compound interest, had set up a UTMA account, uniform transfers to Minors Act for me. My mom was the custodian. For college, he'd said every time he tucked $50 into my birthday card. For the girl who reads, my brother Tyler is 27 and good at charm. He sells boats on commission, which means his moods rise and fall with people who say, let's talk to my wife. He proposed to his girlfriend Mallory last winter with a ring that glowed in photos and a caption that said, she said yes to forever. Plans escalated. Barn venue, 5-course meal, a flower arch that looked like it could support birds, family. Dynamics. Mom, Linda, is the high-gloss parent. See the shiny surface. Ignore the bell. Dad, Rick, is a good man with conflict allergies. I'm the kid who keeps receipts. Historically, receipts mean I'm annoying at Christmas and, right, by February. I had a system each semester. Mom, as custodian, would move money from the UTMA to my checking when the bill posted. The bursar would fall in love with the SIHH and stop sending me emails that make my stomach feel like a rehearsal room for anxiety. 2 days before summer session tuition was due, the bursar fell out of love. Your payment has not been received. The email said, a hold has been placed. I texted mom.me, hey, tuition due Friday. Can you move from the UTMA today? Mom, of course, honey. I've been slammed with seating charts. I'll do it tonight. I went to my 10 a.m. macroeconomics class and learned about opportunity. Cost while my brain did its own math. At noon, no deposit. At 2 p.m., still nothing. At 4:15, I walked into the bank where Granddad had taken Tiny Me. To open my college piggy bank, the teller's name tag said Denise, which is what all helpful bank employees in my life are apparently called. I'm the beneficiary on a UTMA, I said. I need recent statements. There's a tuition timing issue. She checked my ID, clicked, frowned, and clicked again. I can print the last 90 days, she said. The printer spit white truths. I held them with careful hands like hot plates. Transactions, colon 0515. Cashier's check, $12,500. Payee, Bramblewood Barn. Events 0528. Cashier's check, $8,900. Payee, Harbor and Hearth Catering 0603. Cashier's check, $3,200. Payee, Bloom and Vine Floral Studio 0606. Debit, $37.50. Overdraft fee available balance, $742. 18 Denise looked at me like she was trying to put the kindest possible word on a theft. Is this what you expected? It is not, I said. Just so you know, she added gently, under UTMA, the custodian must use funds for the minor's benefit. Weddings are generally not that. I nodded, which is what you do when you're trying not to cry in front of a person who controls the paper. Can I get copies of the check images? She printed front-back endorsements by Bramblewood Barn, Harbor and Hearth, Bloom and Vine. The remitter line made my stomach flip. Linda Adler, custodian for Grace Adler, I took the stack to a table in the lobby because sitting down makes betrayal easier to read. I took photos with my phone and saved them to a folder called UTMA Evidence, because names help when you can't breathe. I called Mom. "What's up?" She chirped. "3 cashier's checks left my UTMA," I said. "For Tyler's wedding." Silence, then the sound of someone moving through a mental binder of excuses. "We'll replace it after the honeymoon," she said. "It's all in the family. You'll be fine. Loans exist." "It's not the family's," I said. "It's mine." "Your grandfather wanted to help both of you," she said, hitting the fairness button with a manicured finger. "Tyler never asks for anything." "He asked for $24,600, I said. "We're tapped right now," she said, voice cooling. This made sense. "For you," I said. "The bursar disagrees." She shifted to defense. "Don't make a scene. It's his week." "I'm making a plan," I said, and hung up because my therapist says leaving a conversation is sometimes the kindest possible verb. I texted Tyler.me. "Did you know Mom used my UTMA for your wedding?" "Tyler, Mom said it's a short-term thing. We'll fix it." "Don't blow this up.me. Tuition due Friday." "It's illegal to use UTMA for a non-benefit. Tyler. Don't use words like illegal. You're being dramatic. It's not like you're being evicted.me. It's a hold. I can't register. If the money isn't back by Friday 4 p.m., I'll file a police report for misappropriation and a UTMA petition for accounting removal. This is not a threat. It's a process." He didn't reply. I went home and did what anxious people with FA do. I researched. UTMA varies by state, but Illinois is clear. The custodian is a fiduciary. Funds must be used for the minor's benefit. The beneficiary can demand an accounting and seek removal if the custodian misuses funds. I called legal aid and, to my shock, got a call back in an hour from a lawyer who knew exactly why my voice sounded like I hadn't slept. "Send a demand letter now," she said. "Attach the statements. Give them a short deadline. If they don't replace it, we file a petition in probate court for an accounting and removal of custodian, plus civil conversion. If a police report is necessary, we'll advise." "Will that ruin the wedding?" I asked because my heart is stupid and loyal. "It will ruin your semester if you don't pay the bursar," she said. "File the letter. Bring the binder. To the rehearsal dinner if you need leverage. Sometimes sunshine is speed. The plan. Print statements plus check images. Tab by date pay. Draft demand letter. Replace $24,600 to UTMA by Friday 4 p.m. or I file for accounting, removal, and report. Misappropriation. Visit the bursar to ask for a 3 business day grace period, bring letter, email wedding vendors, funds used from a UTMA. Please note potential dispute. Do not accept additional payments from that account. Not to cancel, just to put notice into the world. Bring the binder to the rehearsal dinner, not to humiliate, but to shut the door on we didn't know. Thursday morning, I walked into the bursar's office with my teacher voice, big but kind. "I have a hold," I said. "Funds were misappropriated. I have a demand letter out. Can you give me until Wednesday close of business?" The woman behind the glass name tag, Marcia. Energy. Aunt who sees through you but likes you, studied my letter. "Bring me a cashier's check by 4 p.m. Wednesday," she said. "I'll manually lift the hold when I see it." "Thank you," I said, and meant it the way you mean water at mile 10. I emailed the 3 vendors. Careful and boring. Subject. Notice of disputed source of funds, dear vendor. I'm the beneficiary of the UTMA account used for recent payments. To your business? I did not authorize the use of these monies for a wedding. This email is notice of a dispute regarding the source. I am not seeking cancellation. I am requesting you refrain from accepting further payments from UTMA, account ending in 7742. Thank you for your attention. Grace Adler, the caterer, replied with understood. The florist replied with a thumbs up emoji that somehow still communicated. Yikes. The venue didn't reply, because venues in wedding season have the spiritual bandwidth of caffeinated squirrels. By noon, my demand letter had been read. Read receipts are the love language of reasonable people. By 7 p.m., no response. The rehearsal was Friday at 5, dinner at 6:30. The rehearsal dinner Bramblewood Barn looks like an Instagram filter married a field. Edison bulbs. Whiskey barrel tables. Chalkboard signs in calligraphy announcing love is. Sweet as if sugar needs marketing. I wore a navy dress that said, not here to fight, and brought a tote that said, actually I am, paper, not fists. The binder inside had tabs labeled with dates and a cover sheet that read, UTM, I demand for replacement. Mallory looked radiant in white sateen and bliss. She hugged me. I'm so glad you're here, she whispered, and my face did. That thing where it smiles because my heart didn't want to be the villain in a story where the real villain was a checkbook. We rehearsed walking and standing and pretending not to look at the couple while looking. Then we lined up for dinner in the barn, where the smell of smoked brisket and flowers did gunfire in my memory. I had planned to pull Tyler aside quietly. Mom had planned to intercept. She slid into the seat next to mine and took my hand like we were mother and daughter in a commercial for forgiveness. Please don't make a scene, she said. Then fix it before dessert. I said. The toast started. Ben, the best man, told a story about a boat sail that sounded like a parable about pretending to be skill. Mallory's cousin read a poem that tried hard and landed on sincere. Then the venue coordinator clinked a fork and said, any last housekeeping before we wrap? Yes, I thought. Yes, there is, I said. Quick housekeeping, I said, voice steady. Tyler, Mom, I need to speak with you privately for 5 minutes. It's about my college fund. Murmurs are bird flocks. They whiffed. Mom's grip tightened. Sit down, she hissed. Mallory turned, the word college hovering like a small storm. What's wrong? She asked. Let's step outside, I said to Tyler, holding up the binder. Now. We stepped onto the gravel under a tree wrapped in lights. Mom followed. Ben followed because his curiosity is bigger than his sense. Mallory followed because it was her life. I opened the binder to the first tab. On May 15th, a cashier's check for $12,500 left my UTMA, I said. Payee, Bramblewood Barn. On May 28th, $8,900 to Harbor and Hearth Catering. On June 3rd, $3,200 to Bloom and Vine. The remitter is Linda Adler, custodian for Grace Adler. None of that is for my benefit. My tuition is due. I send a demand letter. Replace it by Wednesday 4 p.m. or I file in probate court for accounting and removal and report misappropriation. Tyler flushed. We said we'd fix it. You didn't, I said. Mom, single quotes voice. Went sharp. How dare you bring this here? You brought my account here when you used it, I said. Ben let out a low whistle like he was scoring. She's got receipts, he said, because even fools get a line right sometimes. Mallory's face went white, then red, then something I've only seen during fire drills. You used your sister's college fund? She asked, voice flat in. The way calm can be more frightening than shouting. It's family money, Mom said. It's theft, Mallory said quietly. It's not your money, Linda. And Tyler, you knew? He had the audacity to shrug. We're paying it back. After the honeymoon. Mallory stared at the tree like it might have a script. Then she looked at me. How much? She asked. $24,600, I said. Plus the overdraft fee because betrayal is bad at math. She turned to Tyler. Fix it, she said. Tonight. Mallory. He started. Fix it, she repeated, the way a nurse says, breathe in the ICU. Soft and not optional. Mom tried one last line. We can't move that kind of money on a Friday. The bank opens at 9 a.m., I said. The internet opens all the time. Tyler glared. You're ruining my rehearsal. I'm ruining your embezzlement, I said. Your wedding is fine. He stormed back into the barn. Mom followed, whispering, you'll regret this. Then stayed and said, I always thought you were dramatic, but this is not that. Progress, modest category. Mallory and I stood under the tree, breathing the same air with different histories. I'm sorry, she said. You didn't do it, I said. I didn't stop it, she said. I should have asked more questions. He's charming, I said. Charm is a language that sounds like answers. We went back inside. Dinner resumed with the tightness of a dress one size too small. I sat, ate 3 bites of brisket, and pretended the band's sound check didn't include the sound of my future depending on other people's ethics. At 10:41 p.m. My phone buzzed with a notification. Incoming wire $12,500 from Rick Adler. A minute later. Incoming wire $8,900 from Rick Adler. A minute after that. Mobile deposit $3,200 from Linda Adler. A text from Dad followed. I didn't know. I'm sorry. It's back. I didn't realize that I was inhaling wrong for a week. I texted Marcia at the bursar. Wire initiated. Cashier's check tomorrow? She replied with a thumbs up I wanted to frame. Mallory came over, eyes rimmed but steady. I told him we don't start a marriage with theft, she said, matter of fact. If he wants vows, he can learn the word accountability. Good word, I said. Pairs well with budget. Saturday morning, I walked into the bank and asked Denise for a cashier's check. She smiled like a person who had been waiting to be the favorite part of someone's day. By noon, I handed the check to Marcia at the bursar, who lifted the hold like a magician and said, Go. Register. And tell your grandfather's photo on the fridge he'd be proud. I did both. Monday, I filed the petition anyway. Because money replaced under pressure is not the same as it won't happen again. Legal aid helped me file for a formal accounting and removal of Mom as UTMA custodian. 2 weeks later, in a quiet corner of probate court where people keep families from becoming headlines, a judge signed an order, Mom removed. Aunt Denise, the real one from my mom's side, not the teller, appointed interim custodian until I turned 21 and could assume control. The court ordered Mom to produce an accounting of all UTM at transactions for the last 3 years. She had kept notes, which is to say very little. The judge's eyebrows expressed disappointment and fluent sarcasm. The wedding went on. I went because I love the parts of my family that are not their worst decisions, and because Mallory's spine had joined the party. The flower arch looked like a witness. Tyler avoided me until the DJ called siblings for a photo, where I stood at the edge and smiled like a person who keeps learning and keeps showing up anyway. At the reception, Mallory's dad a CPA with the vibe of a man who uses Excel to relax cornered Tyler and handed him a thin folder. Budget, he said, for the next year. First line, repay Linda's Hellick. She tapped for the wire. Tyler nodded like a person who had discovered that adulthood is more paperwork than fireworks. Mom didn't speak to me for 2 weeks. Then she sent an email that said, I hope you're happy, which is a hard sentence to reply to if you are. I wrote back, I am relieved. I hope you never have to choose between what you want and what's right again. She didn't reply. Dad sent me a photo of Granddad's workbench and wrote, he really did love compound interest. I sent back a heart. Mallory invited me to coffee a month later. Thank you, she said, blunt. It was awful. It was necessary. We're in counseling. He's learning that family is not a bank. Me too, I said. I'm learning. That forgive doesn't mean forget paperwork. At the end of the summer, the court approved the accounting. Mom had used small amounts over the years for your school clothes. She insisted, and then the big ones for the wedding. The judge ordered her to reimburse the account for $1,400 in miscellaneous withdrawals within 60 days. Aunt Denise kept the register like a ledger between friends. I got monthly statements and slept like a person with a lock on her door. In September, I presented at a campus workshop legal aid runs. Know your money, 529 versus UTMA versus loans. I told 50 freshmen exactly what a UTMA is and is not, and to whom custodian does and does not give a checkbook. After, a girl with shaky hands said, "My mom keeps my debit card. Is that okay?" And I said, "Only if you're okay with it. It's your money." The look on her face, that untying felt like a different kind of inheritance. Sometimes I think about the version of this story where I swallowed it, where I took out a loan because family and no one learned a thing. In that version, I sit in a commencement robe with interest piling like confetti while other people dance under an arch of stolen flowers. In this version, I brought a binder to dinner and said a simple sentence, "Replace it by Wednesday or I file." The vendors, thought paid by people whose names were on the invitation. The bursar stamp paid. The judge wrote something on paper that meant try me. And Mallory started her marriage with the one vow you can actually keep. Tell the truth. Granddad kept a list pinned above his bench. Measure twice, cut once, put your tools away. Don't spend what isn't yours. I added a line in my head. The day I stood under those Edison bulbs with a binder that made hands shake, your piece is worth the paperwork. If someone spends your future on their big day, bring receipts. UTMA or not, money that's yours is not a family slush fund. Demand in writing, set a deadline, and if needed, let a bank, a bursar, and a judge do the talking. The cleanest revenge isn't a scene. It's a cashier's check and a court order.